So how many died in Michigan's nursing homes? We still don't know. Doesn't that bother you?
None of us wants to go back and relive that.
That's
we were
true,
doing the best
please.
we could with very little or very bad information.
Oh no, Governor. A lot of us want to go back because you and Dana Nessel fought us. You didn't want us to have the internal documents showing your cover-up. But we got them anyway. 15,000 of them. And we're cranking them through AI.
The best science and the best information available.
So here's what we know so far. Whitmer mixed the sick and the healthy inside the nursing homes. She and her hacks did not know, and they still do not know, how many people died. So they made up a number. They just made up a number. She called this science. In the end, the state claims that 7,700 people died in the nursing homes, all of them through the pandemic, when the true number is probably closer to 14,000.
Damn!
Some background. Back in May of 2020, the feds demanded that the nursing home death totals be reported from every state. And Michigan was the last state in the union to do so. Do you remember that? Because I do. Now, the documents show that Whitmer's team was either too stupid or too incompetent or both to actually count the dead. So they let the nursing homes self-report. What did we find out? A third of the nursing homes never did report, and the other 2/3 underreported to make themselves look better. The whole thing was rebutted by the state auditor general.
Damn!
And then Whitmer paid a think tank to study her fake death data, and naturally, the think tank that she paid for proclaimed Whitmer's decision to commingle the infected with the healthy to be a rousing success.
Damn!
And naturally, the barking seals of the media reported it as gospel, and more people died. It was all a lie. We'll keep going.
Keep going, brother, because we all want to know and we need to know.
Got my word.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's the No Bullshit News Hour with my main man, Charlie LeDuff and Karen Dubitz.
It's just it, breaking news. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
This segment of the No Bullshit News Hour is brought to you by Public Adjusters Midwest. The insurance company's got an adjuster, Adolph. When your house catches on fire, the pipes burst, the adjuster comes over, and he just tells you what he's going to pay you. How do you know that's the right amount? You don't. Why don't you have an adjuster? Where's your insurance lawyer? That's why you call Public Adjusters Midwest, or PAM, at callpamfirst.com or 855-975-2020. I know, I'll tell you how it works. They handle the entire claims process, repping your interest. They get you more money and they can provide a contract. They give you a 10% discount. So if the bad day comes, call Pam first before you fuck up your case. That's Public Adjusters Midwest. Call pamfirst.com, 855-975-2020. And my favorite man in the world, Luke Nowacki. And I remind you that the politicians lie to you, the media lies to you. How do you know if your investment statements are lying to you? I tell you how you know. You call Luke Nowacki at Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748 for sound financial advice. Hit it. Is this the hole-in-one?
It's a hole-in-one, $50,000 if you hit it.
Luke Nowacki, Financial Wealth Management. What is 50 grand after tax?
37,750.
What about state tax?
Yeah, that's I'm throwing both in there.
What about sales tax?
There's no sales tax.
Well, you're buying the beer.
It's income.
You'll buy the beer.
We write that off.
Luke Nowacki, Financial Wealth Management. We write that off. 248-663-4748. You see the market yesterday, Mark? Yeah. International Affair. Tanks.
Yeah, it was like a big check mark, down and then up and then flat. Yeah.
Like sound, rational financial advice, what to do. Don't be one of the ninnies, right? You got yourself and your family to look after. Okay, now, I want to welcome in former Marine and political hitman, Adolph Mongo. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right.
We're going to discuss his memoir, a front row seat. I haven't read it yet, but I got a feeling I know some stuff, and this is going to be a barn burner, dude.
I don't know, man.
Okay, I'll help you.
Okay.
At least you got the copyright written there.
Okay.
I looked it up. That's the proper thing to do. Just bullshit, right? Copyright. And it's copyrighted. I didn't know that.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
My wife told me that.
How's she doing?
She doing fine.
All right. All right, look. Before we get into that, here's what I want to do today, all right? Before we talk about your book. I want to talk about these nursing homes. I want to talk about our representation here in the state of Michigan. You know,
got representation?
That's the hitman right there. We got represent. No, we do not, sir. They're silly. Political class is silly. It's not the best of us, is it?
No loyal, nothing. Especially start at the top. You know how you get rid of the snake? You cut the head off.
You know what they do? They just, the parties now, you just get a goofball to run, and the power's really behind them, and they're empty, they're not smart, they don't have solutions, their backgrounds are murky at best, they're not on all sides of the political.
Oh, there's no question. You see the clowns that's running and spending all this money, and for what? But then it used to be you had a media that put them in check. We don't have shit, and not in Detroit, not in Michigan.
More weenies, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm watching TV, and you got a TV station begging people to call them with stories. Don't they go out into the fucking community? God damn. Well, if you live in Sterling Heights, call me. I need to know the story. What the fuck are you doing all day? Waiting by the telephone?
Well, yeah, well, zoom in on me. Zoom in on me. You guys ready? Because we care.
That's some bullshit, man.
Fuck yeah.
I've never heard of that, man. I'm in center line. Call me. What's going on? Go to the fucking bar over there or the bowling alley, and you'll find out everything that's going on in the fucking city.
I once did a story about a bowling alley in Queens that was closing down because they're like shopping malls. And I bowled the highest score in my life, 222, I believe it was. I still have a pin in my case. It was great. Utopia Lanes.
Well, somebody left a baby on a step. It's cold in the wintertime in Kalamazoo, and they couldn't find out who left the baby. They found the baby fine. So I told my city editor, I said, I'm gonna go to this bar. I bet I find out. Nobody can find out. I went right in there, sat at the bar. A guy was sitting there drinking a beer. I bought him another beer. I said, man, it's a damn shame about that baby. He said, yeah, that's so-and-so baby. She's in the hospital, Sparrow Hospital. I went, called the hospital, asked for her. She answered the phone. I said, why you leave your baby on the doorstep? She started crying, said, because I got two others. She 18 years old. And the people that found the baby, they already knew it was a story they made up. She took the baby over there. Yeah, and they told the police they found the baby on the door.
See, that's old school journalism, old school reporting. Because I once did another story in Queens about a house fire and the town drunk. You know, the one sleeping in the alley and shit. The lady said, my baby. And he says, throw it. And she threw it, and he caught it. He was Lynn Swan of Queens. It was unbelievable. He was a hero, and he didn't want to be a hero. That's a good story.
Yeah, but you know that when you bagging people in Detroit, you go out, you knew the players in the city, you knew the players in the neighborhood, and people called you. You didn't have to beg them. You know, they knew you, they see you, they speak to you, but just to do promo, you spend all this money begging people. So what are they doing? They sitting in the newsroom waiting on a phone call. Right.
How many sources?
Getting fired.
You're absolutely right.
Come from like Missouri and.
This is Conspiracy Ken in the peanut gallery over there. He used to be the executive editor of Fox News, so he would know. There's no sources. Anyway. It's here. We got those nursing home documents. I told you about it. That's another way to do journalism is the documents. You know, I learned that later in life. I used to do all the feature stories, but things became so serious. that I had to also go this way. So, folks, after all these years, 6 years, we're coming up on the 6-year anniversary of the lockdowns. And finally, we got our hands on those nursing home documents. I'm going to tell you at the top, it was a cover-up, and we have the proof. Now, Gretchen Whitmer finally said the quiet part out loud about her deadly and disastrous response to COVID-19. You heard it in the video at the top. Listen, she said to the popular podcast host, Caleb Hammer, last November when pushed on her pandemic lockdown orders. She said, and I quote, "None of us wants to go back and relive that. We were doing the best we could with very little or very bad information." That's what she says now. That's not what she was saying then. Very little or very bad information, ladies and gentlemen, is the least of it. Stay with me. Here comes the receipts. When it came to the admission of infected people into the state's nursing homes, Whitmer and her health officials were working with no data at all. They allowed the nursing homes to simply make up the numbers. According to an initial search of 15,000 pages, this is just a few of them, of unredacted documents obtained by the No Bullshit Newshour and the Michigan Enjoyer, Michigan health officials had no grasp of the number of dead within the state's long-term care facilities. And when pushed by the federal government to supply the data in June of 2020, the Whitmer administration simply turned to the nursing homes with a wink and a nod. From March through June, you'll remember that was the height of the pandemic. Michigan was among the last states to report nursing home deaths. And I'm going to make an aside here. You remember what our response to everything was. Wasn't killing kids, wasn't killing healthy adults. It was killing old people. So we locked away the kids and we shut down the businesses to protect old people. And what was the state's response to taking care of the old people? Separating them? No. Mixing them together in the same fucking building, divided by a shower curtain. That was the deal. And they made up the numbers and they kept the pandemic going by telling all of us this is working. The deaths aren't in the nursing home. They're out there in the general public. It was a lie. Proof. State health officials had attempted a half dozen times to tabulate the death count and came up with a half dozen conflicting numbers. The feds required a death to be counted as a nursing home death, regardless of whether it occurred in the facility or later at the hospital. Remember? By the end of June of 2020, only 2/3 of the nursing homes had even reported to state health officials. A third of them didn't even report. According to these health department spreadsheets, the total deaths reported by the homes in June, 4 months into the pandemic, was a mere 255. As a comparison, the state of New York reported nearly 7,000 in that same time period. Despite the federal guidelines, a team of bean counters in Lansing were removing hospital deaths from the list anyhow. Their total was just 99 victims. Am I right, Ken? Yep. Were we surprised? Very. Holy fuck, they were everywhere. Caught in illegal and public relations vice, state officials circled back to the nursing homes and asked them to simply self-report a raw number. They didn't ask for a name. They didn't ask for an age. They didn't ask for the date of death. They didn't ask for a social security number. Just give me a number. It was a simple take their word for it arrangement. That's what was going on. By mid-June, the Whitmer administration was reporting slightly under 2,000 deaths. Those original reports sent by nursing home administrators have since been deleted. They deleted the data. And a year later, Whitmer's claim that her plan to mix the sick with the healthy in the same building had led to fewer deaths would be totally debunked. As the nursing home scandal was enveloping New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, officials in Whitmer's circle began to panic. On August 14th, 2020, a blizzard of emails passed between Whitmer's health officials and state epidemiologists asking if an update on the true nursing home death toll had been tabulated. And I quote, "This is of great interest to the governor's office," a senior health official wrote to an epidemiologist. "May I get an ETA when this data can be refined?" And the refinement never happened. At least we haven't found it, have we, Ken? Never happened. Instead, now get ready. It's right here. This is where it gets sick. This is where the media gets involved, and they completely fuck society up. Instead, this study was published in September of 2020 by the Center for Health and Research Transformation, an independent consulting firm attached to the University of Michigan. Using the state's flawed and phony data, this report claimed that Michigan's nursing home COVID deaths were well below the national average. I can show it to you right here, right there. See ya. Well below the national average. This center's findings were taken as gospel among the facile media and the professional fact checkers, but documents obtained by us reveal a chummy relationship between this group and state health officials. A few months before the release of this report, the executive director of this nonprofit was contacted by a reporter who rightly asked why Michigan was among the last states in the union to publish its nursing home death count. Before responding to the reporter, this executive director emailed 2 senior Health and Human Service officials looking for directions. This is what she wrote, Adolph. "The reporters are doing another article on the lack of data in Michigan nursing home cases and deaths from COVID," wrote the director. "I'm hoping to better understand the data limitations we're currently facing and what's being done to address them. Thanks so much." It must be noted that this think tank study was funded by the Michigan Health Endowment, a state-created nonprofit whose 9 board governors are appointed by the governor. What these communications expose is a feedback loop of cognitive dissonance. The media provided the questions to the think tank. The think tank, in turn, asked the government to provide it with the response. This was considered independent, scientific confirmation of Whitmer's devastating strategy. The executive director did not respond to my request for comment. The phone message at her headquarters last week said the office is closed due to the COVID pandemic. The nonprofit's findings were eventually debunked by the Auditor General of Michigan in January of 2022. The auditor found the death toll in the first 17 months of the pandemic alone was more than 40% higher than Whitmer was reporting to the public. Whitmer's health director testified before the House Oversight Committee that its death number was indeed accurate because the health department accurately reported what the nursing homes had told them. So it must be accurate because that's what they told us. But we know it wasn't accurate. We know it was a lie. It's a cover-up. Now, adding to the outrage is a slew of peer-reviewed studies showing that nursing homes that commingled the infected and the healthy across the country had a death rate at least 72% higher than those with facilities that did not. Now, here's what one scientist said. "There are some actions that are so foolish and so consequential that they beg for outrage," writes Dr. James Goodwin of the University of Texas. "No individual," he writes, "with the slightest knowledge of nursing homes could have forced nursing homes to admit patients with COVID-19. The majority of nursing homes were totally unprepared to quarantine patients with COVID-19. So what is the true death count in Michigan's long-term care facilities, Gretchen? Remember, you continue to commingle the sick and the healthy throughout the entire pandemic. New York ended the practice after just 40 days, and the Auditor General counted at least 8,000 dead, 8,000 in the first 17 months of the pandemic, and he didn't even have the total list. But Michigan never corrected its total and stopped counting nursing home deaths a year later. To this day, the Whitmer administration claims just 7,000 deaths. So remember this. 8,000 through 17 months. Whitmer says 7,000 through 3 years. The true number of deaths in the Great Lakes state may be as high as 14,000. And we won't know without an investigation. But Attorney General Dana Nessel refuses to conduct one because she's a crook. That too, Ken, has been proven. Yep. Right? You've been watching what we're doing, Adolph.
Yeah.
You know, you let an old lady get eaten alive in a nursing home. And Whitmer, she continues to prop the proverbial folder over her face. I see nothing. None of us wants to go back to relive that. That's what she's saying. We were doing the best we could with very little or very bad information. But a lot of us do want to go back. We remember every time we pray in memory of our loved ones. This isn't over. Ken, we got thousands of documents to go. And now we got former feds helping us.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're just getting started.
We sat there for hours just tripping on this.
Yeah. We uncovered some really interesting stuff.
You want to know where the majority of these deaths were, Adolph? Detroit.
Oh, lucky guess. You know, listen, somebody said to me, if you get sick, they rather, and you're going to take them to Sinai Grace, they rather go right down the street from Sinai Grace, Swanson Funeral Home, because that's what's going to happen when you go to places like that. That's who had where they stacked all the bodies. They didn't have room in the freezers. They were outside in trailers. And, you know, people never reported this shit like it really was, man.
It's interesting you say that because remember Sinai Grace and the bodies were stacking up?
Yeah.
Okay. The way that made its way into the public consciousness was my niece called me in tears. She's an emergency room nurse at the time at Sinai Grace. And they were so overworked. The deaths were so profound that the night shift walked off the job.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. I begged them to go back. And then the media, okay, you know, I just put that out there because I'm not looking for clicks. I'm looking to communicate to the first responders that we absolutely needed them and loved them. And then CNN shows up, and we're just going to parade these corpses around. And they never made the connection that they were all elderly and they were all from the nursing homes. And a lot of them are over by Swanson's. Well, off of Grand Boulevard. That's what we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew people. I knew a woman that I went to high school with, lived in Atlanta, had to come back. Her parents, both of them died of COVID. They had to, you know, you hear stories like that, and it wasn't an isolated incident. It was, boom, 2 people dying, and they had more than they were reported. Mm-hmm. You know, a man and woman been married 40, 50 years, and boom, found them in the house. They've been dead a week or 2.
And, you know, I just don't play like that. I'm not forgetting. You know, this was everything in the world, and then, like, nobody wants to relive that? Okay, here's a question. What if we have another pandemic? We're going to relive it again. Nobody wants to acknowledge what happened or fix it. And again, my daughter's working the board today. It was devastating. Remember this, your school life?
Oh, yeah. People my age are still affected by everything. I mean, people can't talk to each other in class. I don't know. So
your generation is the first generation to totally be born in the screen, right? Well, the millennials, Gen X, we had a little overlap.
I mean, I didn't grow up with a cell phone. So, I mean, it wasn't like everyone in my generation is so, like, I don't know. We grew up with it, but we weren't, like, born with it.
Okay, I get that. But you're the first generation totally of the screen. Like, yes. You don't remember the telephone with the cord, right?
No,
the TV with the rabbit ears, right? Okay, so that's just enough in itself. Just the fact to, and the only reason we gave you the cell phone at 13 was we were kind of, at that point, we thought we were robbing you because that's the way the world is.
I mean, technology in schools, like as a whole, kind of tends to decrease test scores and like interrupt children's attention spans, and mixing it with like social media and, you know, scrolling constantly, your attention span is just ruined. I mean, people are, and then there's AI too, and then there was COVID, and it's like people my age, we just haven't really learned a lot of skills that we should know for.
Yeah, and then
I think we'll turn out okay. I think
you guys are fine. It is what it is, right? And then like the dating is swipe.
Yeah.
Don't forget that part. It's not like going to the bar, it's swipe. But then we exacerbated it. Like, and again, don't consider me a nut. We didn't know what was going on with the pandemic. The Sinai Grace was full of bodies. Of course, we're going to do what we need to do to protect, and we knew from the beginning, the old people, right? But when we start manipulating the data and the end of the year of 2020 is gone, the beginning of the year of 2020 is gone, then you're back, then it's a couple days a week, then the second wave hits and it's gone again. And it's like, what did we do? And you think for a fucking minute, I promise everybody watching, everybody that is in the, you know, the human community, I'm not going to quit.
But why are you surprised?
Well,
why are you surprised
I'm
what
not
we
surprised.
do what we do to old folks? Because in other cultures, you know, Native Americans, Africans, Southeast Asia, whatever, when old folks are not useful anymore, they put them out to die, and that's just what the state did. You know, we got all these people in the nursing homes and stuff. You know, they're not that important. And you know, they're not that important, so, you know, they're going to die anyway.
So I'm going to get my hair done, jack my face up full of fillers and Botox, fly around the world like I'm an expert at anything, and you really expect me to take you seriously, Whitmer?
She's running for president, man.
Okay, but you know what? Like, we're going to be there, because there are thousands of these, and we're going to get all the way, you know, this is scandalous enough. This is your digital data proof.
But Charlie, I'm fixing the damn roads.
You didn't fix the roads. Okay,
I'm busy, Charlie.
The freeways are federal money. The state and county and local roads, 10% have been fixed. You can't bullshit me. My fucking water bill went up 50% in 2 years. My electricity just went up. My property taxes are going up. School achievement is going up.
I'm going to leave you in the hands of your favorite person, Mike Duggan.
This guy, hey, Mike, man, you hire my daughter. Your hipster social media team, so stupid. Well, you know, the schools are messed up, and you know, that's because of the political bosses. I'm not one of them. No, Mike.
Bosses?
Mike's a crime boss. Mike, man, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. I'm bookmarking everything you're doing. Adolph, remember when $100 million were put in Mike Duggan's? They moved him out of the county because of the corruption investigation at the airport.
Yeah.
And they gave him $100 million to fix the Detroit schools, and $80 million of it was no big contract.
They had $1 billion bond, and the fix. Look now. You got Clarkston. Clarkston built a campus, a high school campus, etc., for $60 million, state of the art. The same company built a new Cass Tech, fucked up the football field. Same company, same, $120 million, and they didn't get shit. They got a building.
Yeah, but it got Jerome Bettis into the Hall of Fame because when he's running the 40-yard dash at Cass Tech High School, it's actually only 36 yards.
When
he was running 4.536.
He went to McKenzie, and they tore down McKenzie, and then you tear down a high school, and then you build a junior high. What do you do with the kids?
Let's keep it simple. Like, here's one. Kwame Kilpatrick's stepmother is given a no-bid $100,000 contract to oversee the remediation of lead-based paint.
So
she got no experience in lead-based paint.
Well, Duggan wife didn't have no experience in what the fuck she was doing with that money.
The very next year, the state had to take over the Detroit Public Schools.
Yeah, but
Shut up, Mike.
And then when they took
Crime
it over,
boss.
they bankrupted, took all the money, whatever they did, and then they brought in an emergency manager who just.
I dug all those old reports up. This guy reads like a broken record. Well, we went around the bidding and the procurement rules, just to expedite things. That's what you did with the demo, and now we're poisoned.
But listen, Duggan is a locust. He leads a team of locusts. They go from crop to crop. He went from the county. They ate up everything. They went to the prosecutor's office. They ate up everything. They went to DMC. They wiped it out. He came to the city. He just took whatever.
Don't forget the prosecutor's office.
Yeah, but now he's moving down I-96 to go to Lansing and eat what's left of the state resources.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. And you guys remember we did this story about the fake poller? The guy that's supposed to be charged for campaign finance fraud. That's the guy doing Duggan's poll saying it's neck and neck.
Seems about right.
It's not neck and
I
neck.
know. I'm like, I just did the story, and the media's like, well, my ankles are fat. I didn't see that. Get the fucking.
But I don't think all these folks he banking on in Detroit is going to vote independent.
Okay, well, let's go here. We'll go bit to Detroit when we discuss your front row seat. And your life is fascinating. I know this is going to be a great book. I don't want to give it away till we get to that part. But I want to first. Let me just do this. A little bit of business. Have you heard of Mando whole body deodorant?
No.
Here, just give me your wrist.
Nah, man.
Yeah, just
no.
Come on.
Trust him.
I don't know what's on that, man.
Just come on. It's acidified body. It's for your
Mando.
package. Just try it a little bit. This is bourbon leather.
Condo.
Just give that a smell. Here. There you go. Give that a smell. Not bad, right? I mean, you got to admit, it stumped you there. You thought it was going to be horrible, but no. And the body wash, divine. You know when you do body wash and it just goes off and your skin's dry? Not this body wash. And if you want to try it, you can get the special starter pack with the solid deodorant, the cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, the body wash, my favorite, deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Special offer to our listeners, 20% off. Just use the no BS code, shopmando.com. Okay. I really do love the product. That is fucking, it's lovely. Now, you know what's not lovely? Going back to the old people and not getting an investigation in these nursing homes is Dana Nessel allowing her friend, Traci Kornak, who was the treasurer of the state Democratic Party, to, despite the fact we brought it right to her, cost me my job. She allowed her friend who's alleged, charged with mega felonies for ripping off an old lady. And how did she do it? She got the old lady to sign over power of attorney to her. But the old lady was termed incapacitated. Now, here's a little clip we found from the Oversight Committee during these hearings. The power of attorney document. Listen closely.
I have one more question I want to ask too. She's a conservator. And when I think of a conservator for finances, you're probably trying to help with making prudent financial decisions for an individual. Yet, when she needs to go to the hospital for 7.5 hours, her client, Miss Bird, she's there at the hospital with her for 7.5 hours and bills $1,500. To me, that doesn't sound like she's helping to conserve her client's money very well.
I think at this point I have to add an initial point, which was not covered in the PowerPoint slides, and that is that Ms. Kornak obtained a durable medical power of attorney document from Ms. Bird. That document's in the Attorney General's files. That document clearly on its face is a fraudulent document. Ms. Kornak signed it as a witness to the signature of the protected individual. An attorney cannot ethically sign as a witness a document that gives them a significant amount of power over another person's affairs. In addition to that being an ineffective delegation on its face, we received witness information that the other witness signature was another elderly resident of Ms. Bird's facility, and she was blind. The power of attorney granting Ms. Kornak powers over Ms. Bird's medical affairs was signed by Ms. Kornak herself and a blind person.
So not only billing $200 per hour for 7.5 hours is not conserving, it's not even her authority because she's a conservator, not a guardian.
She was a conservator. She was never appointed as a guardian.
Thank you.
Rip off artists. Rip off artists.
Wow. You know what's birds my ass about it? I gave those documents to Nessel's investigators because they didn't even try to find the documents. So, you know, as a reporter, like, we don't give the government our work product, right? Precedent. But I work for myself now. So I don't have to go by the New York Times rules or Fox's news. So I sent them because I knew they weren't asking for them. They had them and they did nothing. And here we sit. What's up with Nessel? When does she get hers? Okay, we're at war. You want to see another shit for brains that represents us? Alyssa Slotkin, who likes to say she did 3 tours in Iraq with the CIA. How many months is that? Like a tour in a zone, right? You're a Marine. I was a reporter. 30 days in a combat zone. That's a tour. But normally your tour in a non-combat zone is 2 years. Something like that?
It depends. A year. Yeah.
6 months. Okay. How long exactly? But here's what happened. You're in the CIA. You climb your way up the intelligence apparatus. They pick a dummy. You're the dummy. By the time we sent Iran $1.4 billion in cash, not American cash, euros, Swiss francs, because of the embargo, we can't send them our cash. Alyssa Slotkin was I believe, the assistant acting deputy of defense in charge of Middle East affairs. So you had to be aware of it. It would be illegal for her not to know about it. So considering everything that's going on, here's an enterprising reporter. I'm not sure who it is. I wish I did. I want to give you credit. It's you got ripped off. Nobody's giving you credit. I would love to. But this is nice. Little piece of journalism. Here's Alyssa Slotkin in the halls of power in D.C.
Hi, Alyssa. I have daughters that graduated from the same high school as you, so I'm just asking. I want to find out what your involvement was in the Iran deal with the pallets of cash that were sent to.
We have to do a few media interviews. I'm sorry.
But did you have any involvement in that? Is that why you're not answering me? Because you were involved in that deal with Obama to send the pallets of cash over to Iran that supported terrorism? You don't have any comment?
Oh, man.
How many Marines were killed with that money?
Listen, there's going to be some more Marines.
Let's okay. So that's just so you know. I've been telling you people. I was there. I know what she did. I know what USAID did. I know what games were playing over there. This is your representation. Glugging out of a bottle. Can't answer the question. Can't answer it.
Won't answer.
This is not serious representation. The world's a very serious place, brother. Before we do that, here's a very serious message from XG Service Group. Well, when it rains, the power goes out. And when the power goes out, the internet goes out. When the internet goes out, I call my friend Matt and Bernie at XG Service Group. Look at Bernie here on his hands and knees, giving it everything he's got. Look at that man crack. So busy, he forgot to wear a belt. There's Matt right there getting the board together. That's 734-245-4100 if you need Matt and Bernie to come take care of your voice over internet, your security cameras, off-campus access control, Wi-Fi, and cameras for homes and business. They'll design it for you. You got restaurants, they do drive-through systems, railroad cameras for public safety, total wireless camera systems for your home and business. Yeah, that's right. Call XG Services at 734-245-4100. How's my hair? Beautiful. Okay. Claude, remember, you're supposed to keep track of the hair, too. Okay, thank you. So who's the reporter? You got her name?
Yeah, it's, you said Patty McMurray? Yeah. Patty M.I. at Patty Loves Truth on Twitter.
So Patty just does her own independent thing,
She works with the Gateway Pundit.
Yeah. Oh, she's with the Gateway Pundit. Good for her. Very good one. Because that needed to be asked. Now, Iran, Marine, Mongo. Wait a minute. First of all, how'd you get a name like Adolph?
Man, what I have to go through that? I was named after an uncle.
Named after an uncle.
Because back in the 1920s, my grandparents were living next door to a German couple who was best friends with my grandmother. Now, this was before the other Adolph came into power. And she let the German mother name her son. He named him Adolph. Now, when I grew up, there was 2 other Adolphs in my community. They were both black. So it was 3 of us.
What year were you born?
54.
54.
Yeah.
So that would be 10 years after the
No.
other Adolph was?
Yeah, well, you know, listen, there's famous Adolphs. You know, Harpo Marx, his real name?
Adolf?
Adolf.
Yeah, but he was born before the other Adolf.
And my uncle was born before the other Adolf was in power.
Well, I like how you didn't forsake the family name.
Oh, listen, man, I hated my name coming up. First time in kindergarten, Hi Hitler, Meat Tenderizer, Rudolph, Randolph.
Did you go to school in Oak Park?
Yeah.
With a lot of Jewish kids?
Oh, 95%.
Oh.
You know? Yeah.
Is that in the book?
But, well, I don't know.
You put that in the book?
I remember when I went away to University of Michigan, you know, in dorms. I lived in West Quad. And they had your name on the door and shit. and I came in, there was my roommate, little white boy from Ohio. He looked at me, yes, may I help you? I said, I think this is my room too. He said, oh, you're Adolph? I said, yeah. He said, I went to school with blacks. I said, I went to school with whites. So after 2 weeks, I traded him.
What was his name, Benito?
No, I traded him to another guy in the dorm. He didn't want to go. He hated the guy. I said, man, you got to go, man. Anyway.
So, Iran, who knows? What do you make of it? As a warrior.
Listen, we've been in Iran since the 40s. We are helped with regime changes and everything else, man. People saying, oh, now you can, I hear Trump, now you can, the people of Iran, now you can elect your own leaders. The only people they're going to get is the same assholes, whether they the left, the right, dictatorship, junta, who knows?
So a little realpolitik here? Does it matter to us?
No, fucking no, because we do business with the devil.
What, at least they're disarmed, right? So the time is now. Let's cut the head off. So let's just say the dictatorship was replaced with a Islamic dictatorship that slaughters its own people. It wouldn't seem like much has changed, except they don't have weapons.
Man.
I'm just saying,
How are you gonna control?
I'm not a war guy.
How are you gonna control a country like that if you're gonna give people weapons? People don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
People don't know when the Russians was in Afghanistan, we gave bin Laden all the weapons he needed.
Yeah, exactly.
And guess what?
Exactly.
And then when we went in there, we was fighting against.
But remember what Iran was sponsoring through China, by the way, is the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah, world terror. Hezbollah's in Venezuela. So would it really make a difference?
We had Iran in check when Iraq had Hussein. Now, because they was fighting each other every other year. We took him out, and now we don't have checks and balances in the Middle East.
Well, what's interesting is also maybe just 60% of Iran is Persian. They have Azerbaijanis, they have Kurds, etc. So,
how many people know that? Because
that's why you tune in to No Bullshit News Hour.
Yeah, because folks think, they're the Arabs. They don't.
Oh, they're not Arabs.
They're not Arabs,
and they're not. They're Shia. They're not Sunni. Like the divisions in the Islamic world. Maybe 85-90% of the world's Muslims are Sunni.
I think all that shit is bullshit anyway.
So if we're talking about we leave a vacuum, and there's mass exodus from Iran. Let's just look at this. You certainly wouldn't be going to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia or Bahrain or Qatar or Oman or Kuwait or the UAE.
Nah.
They're Sunni. kingdoms. They won't even take Palestinians there.
No.
You're not going to Pakistan.
No.
Okay. You're going to Europe. How are you going to get there? So you have to cross the sands of Sunni Iraq, the sands of Sunni Syria, to get to Lebanon, to get to Sunni Turkey. Seems to me, if there was a mass exodus, they would go through Azerbaijan, also Shia, and into Russia. What this also does, Russia is bombing the fuck out of the Ukraine with Iranian-made drones. China gets 20% of all its oil from a combination of Venezuela and Iran. So all of a sudden, China, who's investing $400 billion over 20 years into Iran to get oil, to have an established footprint in the Middle East, they're in check. So I don't know. I was talking to my daughter on the way here. She said, "What do you feel about it?" I go, I don't like war, but I like it better if we're winning. But I always remember any of these foreign journeys that Afghanistan, we're happy. Ooh, look at the bombs go off. Iraq, oh, mission accomplished. And then all of a sudden,
it ain't.
Things whipsaw.
It's not. And the only losers out of this is the soldiers we're going to bury. Well,
I'm going to watch.
And the fuckers that wage these wars, their kids are going to Mar-a-Lago eating lobster and shit, while other folks are going to do fighting for these assholes, man. Say what we really doing. We really fucking with China and Russia.
There you go.
Now,
it's a whole redrawing.
That's what it.
Let's go back real quick. What we've seen. Okay, we discussed China, Ukraine, Russia, right? You look at the Chinese are out of the Panama Canal. The Chinese are now out of Venezuela. Cuba's probably going to fall. I didn't know this. There was action in Ecuador last night, right? As we discussed last week, the head of the Mexican cartel, the Jalisco cartel, out. Canada, you're getting pushed. Mexico, you're getting pushed. It's a reordering. Quite frankly, the world had become disordered and we had a bunch of boobs running it. Don't. This was the Biden administration. Don't. Well, they did. So I guess I'm just watching. I'm not the paid expert, but I have been around. You've been around. You've carried the guns for this country. So it's...
We'll see, man.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Let's go back to Venezuela. Hezbollah sells all over the continent. Remember Issam Bazi, the guy on the terror watch list that the Biden administration let move to Dearborn. Now you know why I was kind of bent out of shape of what's this guy doing here. I don't know now what kind of cells the Iranians have in the United States. We lost track of over 1,000 of them. So many unvetted people came. And now the Department of Homeland Security is not being paid.
And but I'm gonna tell you, because we're gonna have some issues here in this country as long as we keep bombing Iran, because we got some zealots that you see what happened in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, that's just the beginning.
You know, and yes, the Israelis were going anyway. I think that's obvious. Why did we go right then? Probably because we knew they were all having fucking pineapple and cantaloupe and having a meeting together. Now's the time.
Yeah.
So why now? Because now was the time.
Yeah, it's hard, man. You cut the snake head off, another one gonna grow back.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
there you are.
Okay, so let's discuss a front row seat. What's your middle name?
I don't have a middle name.
Do you know what Hitler's middle name was?
What, man?
Didn't have one?
What, man? You're fucking with me, man. Come on.
Tell me about the book, man. Tell us about you. How does this begin? Like, here's what, let me, you, Marine, Oak Park, name Adolph. You went to work for you were a reporter in Colorado. Yep.
Maryland. Kalamazoo.
Then you came
Detroit.
to work for the Coleman A. Young administration as a press guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me, what's in here?
Man, my interactions with several mayors in Detroit, Coleman Young, real fascinating. You know, I sit here every day and watch people talk about Coleman Young and had no idea what Coleman Young was all about. And I said, well, let me write about.
Was he corrupt or was he a savior or was he both?
Most politicians are corrupt.
Yeah, that's true.
But
bad question.
But when he left office, he didn't take anything with him.
That is true, isn't it?
Yeah, that's no question.
So like he didn't take cash.
No,
he took debit cards. He took favors. Right? Power was his payoff.
Yeah, but once he told me, he said the first day that he wasn't mayor, the phone call stopped. He said nobody calls you back, and nobody calls you.
That's why Duggan's running for governor.
Of course, you know, and because I asked the mayor why. You could be somewhere on an island enjoying life and shit. He said it had too many people to take care of, and you know, and he didn't want to leave. The guy was sick the last 2 terms. He should have did 12 years instead of 20. But hey, you know, people depended on him.
Right.
That's
for the grease.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, you were like deputy press secretary, and you ended up leaving. I remember I don't quite remember the story, but why did you leave?
When the city had a print shop then, printed everything in the city, and technically I was over the print shop. I get a call from the print shop saying that Mel Rabbits, remember Mel Rabbits?
Not
the city council?
Yeah, I know the
city
name.
council. Anyway, he was a pain in the ass to the mayor. It was election time, and they had 100,000 pieces of literature, basically campaign literature printed up. I'm like, we don't print up campaign pieces for city council people. The mayor doesn't do that either. You pay for it on the outside. I told them to trash it. Okay, they trashed it. Mel Rabbit's pissed. But we had folks up there like the deputy mayor, the late Fred Martin, who he took credit for it until it came back to bite the mayor in the ass. It was a close vote on something. I forgot what it was. And Mel Rabbit voted against it. He told the mayor, the reason I voted against it because your assholes over at the print shop got rid of all my shit. So, of course, it comes back on me. And they said, the deputy mayor said, we're going to suspend you for 60 days. I said, I quit. And then they come back and said 30 days. I said, I fucking quit. You know, 2 days. I said, I quit. So I gave him a 2 week notice. Last day of work, I get a call from the mayor's office. Said the mayor want to speak to you. I said, fuck the mayor. They hung up the phone and I left out. You thought I was quitting the mafia or some shit, man. People mad at me, family mad at me. But about a month later, I needed something from the mayor. Guess what? I called him. And he called me back and he said, whatever you need. That was that. You know, he never asked me why I quit. You know,
so you wouldn't take part in the corruption.
No, fuck no. Man.
Like your rep means more to you than a $2,000.
Yes, and all the shit I seen when it was campaigns, how they took money, took cash, all kind of shit, man. That, you know, and it's not just in that administration. Archer and them was just as bad. They look at Duggan. It's the same shit. It's how you spin it and shit, man.
What about Kilpatrick?
Oh, Kilpatrick was just a lying son of a bitch.
Tell us.
You know, I didn't support him. I worked on Gil Hill campaign. We fucked with Kilpatrick and shit. We did a background check on him, found out all kind of shit. Now, the media had all this information on Kwame. Wouldn't run it, wouldn't say anything, because, you know, he get elected. So he started doing all this crazy shit, you know. he got in trouble. 2005, it looked like he wasn't going to win re-election. He calls me 3 o'clock in the morning. I can tell he's been drinking or some shit. I can hear the music in the background. And he was like, Dolph, I need you. I need your help. I'm like, nah, man, I don't think I can work with you. Called me every day for a week. So I decided, yeah. Well, okay.
Price was right.
Yeah, the price was right.
Yeah. Well, you're a hitman. I mean, that's the way it works.
He said, let's meet over at the Manoogian. I said, no, I'll come up to your office. I just wanted to walk in his office because I had been fucking with him a lot. And you should have seen the looks on his people's face. They wanted to kill me. I'm like, y'all won. Y'all won. What's the deal? Anyway, I started working with him and shit. Man, the guy, I'm like, is there anything new? No, man, nothing coming out. And the next day, you was writing half of the story.
I wouldn't hear at that point.
Yeah, but when you came, you saw what was happening. But anyway, I'm meeting with Kim Worthy. Kim Worthy was my client too. And she was running for re-election, and she was like,
You're the one that took Duggan out at the prosecutor's office by putting Kim Worthy
Yeah.
out. Yeah, okay.
So Kim Worthy...
I mean, if I want to run and win in Detroit, I'm hiring you, because that's politics.
But I'm meeting with Kim Worthy. Kim Worthy tells me, now we had Mario's in Detroit, her and her guy, he's no longer with us, Jerome Crawford. She said, tell Kwame, I got some text messages. She said, if he don't, he said he need to resign. She said, if he don't, I'm going to indict him with 12 counts. And now if he resigns,
during his first term,
if he resigns, I won't charge him. I thought it was a good deal because if he resigns,
this is the second term after he gets reelected.
Right. I said he can run again. So I go to Kwame, and I go to his folks, Kwame, Christine Beatty, and shit. I said, man, I just met with the mayor. I met with the prosecutor, and she said, I laid it on the table.
Here's
text
the deal.
messages.
Here's
the deal.
Wow. Okay, set it up. Mario's, old school, Italian, dark, wood, power players go. The ice cubes are tinkling in the glasses. You're probably drinking vodka on the rocks. If I got you.
At that time.
Yeah, vodka on the rocks. Here's the deal.
And guess what they said?
What?
Fuck Kwame. Our people is talking to her people. I said, fuck Kwame. I said, fuck Kim Worthy. He said, yeah. I said, I'm talking to Kim Worthy. I don't know who your people talking to. Somebody in the office. I said, I think it's a great deal. He wouldn't take it.
Wow.
And then that week, here come the free press. And they came out with the text messages.
And then when I rolled into town, after the free press, 2 months later, I come into town. The free press drops the text messages. A couple months later, Kwame's got to go to the state pen, right? And he's on TV with his wife, and they're both dressed as gaudy drapes, like Paisleys, and they're matching. And it was at, what was the name of that club at the time? I forget, but it was in Greektown, and it was a power players.
What,
joint. Mosaic, black power players, right? And it's deadly silent. Just, oh my God, it's historic. Except there's one voice, it's dead quiet. Y'all set me up for a comeback. And there's Adolph Mongo walking around with his ice cubes tinkling in his glass, and he's yelling, "The king is dead! The king is dead!" I'll never forget it. And nobody said shit to you.
And your editors over at the news, when I told you, I said, Kwame moved out of the office.
Yeah, he's packing his boxes.
I said, he's packing up. I said, I talked to him. He was driving around the city. And they didn't believe you, did they?
No, they didn't believe you. And I'm like, this guy's good. I don't know. Like, the politics around here in the papers and all that. The Detroit News had gotten its ass whipped on that story. And I started in March. The text came out in January. And I was sitting with the managing editor your first week on the job. you go to lunch with a few people, and we're at a Mexican village, and I was just showing off, whatever, just trying to impress the new boss. I go, you want those text messages? Because I'll get those text messages. And he cuts into his enchilada. He looks at me, he says, at this point, I don't think we do want them. And I said to myself, what the fuck I just got myself into? I just quit the New York Times. I'm at a broken down paper, and you don't want the biggest story.
No.
Fucking hit this state in decades. Man. Now, let's go back a second. So Kwame Kilpatrick's all caught up in the scandal in his first term, the Navigator, right?
Try to tell him about the Navigator.
Okay, and he's losing, right? He's behind in the polls.
Yeah.
And you come up with the strategy. Claude, listen to this now. What was the strategy, Adolph?
I just bought
Set up who had died, everything like that.
Rosa Parks died.
Rosa Parks had just
died. They
died.
having her funeral.
Rosa Parks.
The two black newspapers in town, it was the Citizen at the time and the Chronicle. So I went and bought a full-page ad, a lynching ad. I said the lynch mob is lynching Kwame, and I put Nolan Finley and Mildred Gaddis and some others. It showed that picture. Then I showed a picture of a lynching where two black young teenagers were lynched in some Mississippi town. But anyway, the first picture was somebody being burned up. My wife said, "You can't put that in the paper." I said, "I think I can." It's so, at one time I had wanted to use the lynching ad, and I called Emmett Till's mother when she was still alive, said, "Can I use that picture?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "Because I own the rights to that picture, but I never used the picture of her son in the casket when she left it open." So I used another lynching picture, and I got the ad together, and
full page ad.
Said lynching is still legal in America. That was the headline, and the Citizen ran it before I wanted them to run it. Got no response, and then the Chronicle put it on the back page of their Rosa Parks edition. They had all of Rosa Parks. She died, and then had on the back lynching is still legal in America. This thing went global. I had people calling me from England, but
dude, I saw it in L.A.
Listen, of course, Kwame begging me not to take credit for it, so I said I don't know where that came from, and it turned the election around. Freeman Hendricks had people going to the Menugian. They was going to change it. They was appointing folks to positions and shit. He had beat Kwame by 12 percentage points in the primary, and he was on his way to winning. And next thing you know, I was in a cigar bar. All the Kwame people there were watching the results. They partying. I'm sitting there smoking a cigar. And I said, watch, at 12 o'clock, they're going to be gone. Of course, 12 o'clock came. Oh, guess what? Kwame been declared the winner. He won the re-election.
So it was your fault.
Yeah, it was my fault. But hey.
That's what you get paid for.
And then I had to go, oh, man. He was a mess, man.
I remember you told me one thing about him. You're like, bro, because you're a student of history, very deep student of history, and you're like, bro, he don't have a book in his office.
Nope. Now, I've been in office with Dennis Archer. He had law books, etc. Coleman Young had all kind of history books. The guy was a walking encyclopedia. Kwame had nothing on the desk. They pictures. They was like, they told their story with pictures of him with everybody. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to read this because you really came of age and just an incredible epic in the history of Detroit, from the 50s through the riots, through, black empowerment to bankruptcy. Like, you've seen it all, and I'm actually really honored you asked me to read it, and I can't wait to.
Well, one part in there was with when Feiger ran for governor.
Oh yeah.
And we somehow won the primary. And he was like, "What's next?" Because he didn't really want to win the primary. He was making a statement. Anyway, when he was picking folks to run on his ticket at the time, now the convention picks them. We were trying to pick the attorney general. He wanted he wanted Carl Marlinga or this guy Tony Tagg up from Muskegon to be the attorney general. But the only people that were supporting him was McNamara and Duggan. They wanted some little obscure line-ass broad name, that's what I call her, Jennifer Granholm. She came, he interviewed her. After the little interview, he said, "Oh, man," he said, "I don't trust her." He said, I don't want her. Said, that's the only reason. So we had a vote. We had a little 5-person committee. We was over the Doubletree, was where the Marriott courtyard is at. And we was in there. Feiger was drinking his vodka. I was drinking. Everybody was drinking except one, my younger brother. He was the only sane person. 3-2 to have Granholm. We put Granholm on the ticket.
So that was your fault too.
Yeah, that was my fault. She was, listen, man, she was the only one that year, a Democratic candidate that won. Everybody else got their ass kicked.
Well, I look forward to it, man. That's going to be it. Thanks.
I appreciate you.
Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, man.
It's cool. All right. There's more coming on that, Whitmer. I haven't forgotten.
And she the most unloyal motherfucker in the world. Can I say motherfucker? Oh, okay. She loved Gilchrist when he ran with her for 2 terms, and then when he wanted to be governor, she said, he's a loser.
First time she ever told the truth.